Okay, this video is how to improve high schools. Okay, so a couple things. Number one, you got to learn ancient Greeks. If you don't know the ancient Greeks, I'm sorry, but you're just not educated. You're kind of like you're like a farm animal. I mean, you go with the soil. You have to know history in order to be able to put things into historical perspective. And the three great times of man are the ancient Greeks, the Italian Renaissance, and the 1800s in Europe. Okay, those are the golden ages of mankind. There's been other ones, but those are the big three. Okay, so, at a minimum of the Greeks, what should you know? Rufus Fears is the best teacher. I should have put him on there. You should read Antigone, Oedipus Rex, Oresteia, excerpts from Thucydides, and you should know, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. That's the minimum, okay? And that'll stand you well. The Bible's at a minimum. You should read Genesis, especially the creation story, and you should read the Gospels. At a minimum. That's the minimum. Okay, just to be able to read English literature and have a clue. For the Italian Renaissance, at a minimum, you have to know Pope Julius, Michelangelo, and Raphael, and Caravaggio. And you really ought to know, Ignatius and a few others, but that'll stand you pretty well. For the 1800s, it was just like, that's when the best literature came. That's actually when most of the best painting came. An art appreciation class would be useful, painting appreciation class, because you learn a lot of history from looking at art. History of music is also a great thing. History should be taught by people, because if you remember people, if you learn about, you can't forget the personality of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. You can't forget Alexander the Great. You can't forget Julius Caesar and Cicero, okay? They're unforgettable. And so people would always remember stuff. And Octavian Caesar, Augustus Caesar, okay? But when you teach people based on dates, they forget everything. Most young people, they don't know like any history. You ask them any random history question, they won't know anything. So history should be taught based on people. You should know about the history of freedom versus tyranny. Most countries since the beginning of time have been tyrannies with slavery and brutal rulers and stuff. But you should know, the best place to learn about tyranny and collectivism is ancient Rome, because nobody's got a dog in the fight, and you can just openly tell the truth. Here's how people behave in these situations. Learn about Caligula, Nero, Robespierre, Marx, Lenin, Stalin, Hitler, Mao, Pol Pot. Learn about all these people so you know how people behave. And learn about the good people who really did much to promote freedom of mankind. In high school, there should be an auto shop class, and learn basic stuff. You should know how to change a tire, how to change the oil, how an engine works, auto maintenance. And hopefully we'll keep cars where we have some. I don't like these electronic cars where the only person you can go to is the dealer. They want to just take all your freedom away. The dealers rip people off all the time. You don't want to just be able to go to one dealer. That's a bad deal. I think that cash for clunkers business was a way to get the old cars off the roads so that everybody could get put into a controlled car where they can, control it electronically, externally. Okay, health. In health class, instead of, putting condoms on banana, you should be learning about the epidemiology of diet, something useful to keep you skinny and healthy, prevent diabetes. Writing should be taught based on rhetoric. No one cares about grammar. You don't learn your language from grammar. Rhetoric is like impact boosters, how to write in a way that's memorable. Oratory. Yeah, you should have practice public speaking. You should study the great public speakers. Study Cicero, study Patrick Henry, study JFK, etc. Okay, literature. Let the students pick their own book. Have like 200 books in the class or in the school library, and let the kids pick whatever book they want out of those 200. Because when you pick a book, it's fun to read. You make a prediction about the book. You have anticipation. You try to check if you were right. It's a little adventure. It's fun. Where somebody tells you must read this book, you're only going to read about 2 the whole year, and they're going to suck, and everybody's going to hate it. Versus if you pick it yourself, in the 6th grade classroom, that the book whisperer, Donald and Miller lady, her kids were reading 43 books a year. Okay, I would say just, in high school level, you're going to be reading a bigger book, so read one a month. That's easy. Okay. When you learn oratory, read the trilogy of Cicero by Robert Harris. It's magnificent. Read about Quintilian. Teaching L2. L2 means second language, language number 2. Spanish, for example, should be based on communication. And, get vocabulary. Don't worry about grammar. Nobody cares about grammar. Learn the bilingual fairy tales. They're really easy. They're fun. Lots of pictures, memorable, high-yield vocabulary. Then song lyrics. A couple of easy songs just because they help teach you how to speak with emotion. and then read a novel in bilingual form, like Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens or Animal Farm by George Orwell. You know, a short novel. You could read either one of those in a weekend. You can have audio CDs of the books too that you listen to in your car and stuff. Math with real world examples, you know, how to finance a car, start a business, buy a house, invest in the stock market, things that are useful, relevant to the real world, okay? Anyways, these are just some easy ways. It's easy to improve high school. The reason why it never gets improved is because a bunch of scumbags in some centralized place have it designed exactly the way it is, so the students forget everything except typing and driver's ed. And it's designed to waste, 12 years of their life, turning them into conformist morons. Anyways, hope you found this helpful.